Hello there. I just wanted to go through with you guys today what is the difference between yield and cap rate. Now, cap rate is something that is only a metric used in investing in commercial property. And when I say it's only used in investing in commercial property, I mean commercial versus residential. In residential property, people do not use the metric cap rate. My name is Thomas O'Regan, and this is video. I'm an investor, and these are videos I do just to help educate people get an understanding of how investing in property works. Over the last 3.5 years, me and my wife, sorry, have built an 11 property portfolio. So that gives me the credibility to talk about these things that I'm going to go through with you right now. So this is something that a lot of people get confused in commercial property. They think cap rate and yield are the same thing. They are very similar, but they are not the same thing. Now, let me just demonstrate what is yield. So, for example, if you have a property that's worth $1 million and it has an 8% yield, that would mean that the property is generating $80,000 of income per year. And normally in commercial property, the income is something that is the income that you calculate from is something that is your net income. So when we say in commercial property that your yield is 8%, we generally mean the yield is 8%, not including all the outgoings that the tenant pays separately from that. So effectively, your gross yield would be much higher than 8%, but we generally don't take that into consideration. And if a real estate agents, they might put the gross income in just to fluff up the numbers, but generally when you talk as a professional, if you're talking about commercial property, when you're talking about yield, you mean the net income on the property. And that can get very complicated in itself, but that's just generally how it works. So say for example, we're looking at this property, it's worth $1 million. We say how much is the yield on that? Okay, so it generates $80,000 of income net. That means it's an 8% yield. Now, okay, so let's do another example. Say if we have $1 million property and it's got a 6% yield, what is the net figure that we're getting? We are getting $60,000 a year yield. Okay, so what's the difference between cap rate? So cap rate is almost the same. It's right. It's very confusing actually, but you would say the same thing. You say, okay, that $1 million property is a 6% cap rate. So what does that mean? It means it generates $60,000 per year net. It's the same, right? But then you go, okay, what is the cap rate in the area? If it's an 8% cap rate, that means the property that is worth $1 million is generating $80,000 per year. Got it. Okay, so cap rate in the area is 8%. That means $1 million property is worth 80 grand. Now here's the difference. So in the marketplace and in property investing, the where you make a lot of money, in one of the ways that you make a lot of money in property investing is getting good deals, okay? So what the yield is of the property and what the cap rate is can be the same, but the reality is the cap rate, okay, so the yield is something that is just tied to the property, but the cap rate is tied more to the marketplace. So this is the way you would describe a cap rate. You would say, for example, if I look in Melbourne, CBD, the cap rate of office space in this terrible time in the market, the office space has huge vacancies. The cap rate is 8%, and that is demonstrating a very weak market. Okay, so and then we go, okay, so the cap rate's 8% in office space in Melbourne CBD. Okay, what's the cap rate in, say, industrial warehousing in the western suburbs of Victoria? Okay, the cap rate in that area might be 5 to 6%. Okay, so what if we were to buy a property for $1 million, say in the like an office space in the CBD, that was generating for an 8% cap rate? Yep, we can do that. Effectively, what you would be buying is you would be buying a property. You would be. Let me just start again there. So the cap rate, yeah, as we said, the cap rate in Melbourne CBD, let's just call it 8% cap rate for office space. Now, because the market is so bad, the cap rate might be 8%, but I might want to buy the property so that it has a higher yield than the cap rate, because the marketplace is saying that the cap rate is 8%. But if I'm a very good negotiator, I can buy the property for a yield of say 12%. Okay, so that same property that is in the marketplace should be worth $1 million because it generates $80,000 of income. I might be able to buy that property because the marketplace is so bad. I might be able to buy that property for say $700,000, which would mean, okay, the value in the marketplace is still X. It's still $1 million for that property because it's generating $80,000 of income. But what I've done is I've just improved the yield on the property because I bought it at a discount. Now, honestly, understanding cap rate took me the difference between cap rate and yield. It took me a very, very, very long time to understand myself. Now I can honestly say I understand it, but I'm not that great at expressing it and demonstrating it. So hopefully I was able to demonstrate today what the difference between cap rate and yield means in commercial property. But if you want me to go into more detail, just hit me up in the comments and I'll do another video trying to break it down even more. And if you guys like this video, just subscribe. Really appreciate that. See you next time. Bye.